points on the board, over 40 in week 1.
An 8-play, 95-yard touchdown drive. And Aaron Woods on the return for the Bombers. Got some blocking on that far side. And cuts it back over the 40 and gets 5 more to the 45. A 28-yard return. Trying to set things up as the trophy case in Ottawa starts to get a few souvenirs.
Yeah, Siobhan Walker. I like the backside protection. Della Hunt and Patrick Lavoie. 2 tight ends are on the backside to protect Henry Burris so he can half roll to the field and get the ball way wide to Siobhan Walker. Once it's out there, now he leaves it up to his running back to make one man miss. That's Maurice Leggett. And in the end zone he goes.
We ain't gonna stop. We just getting started, baby.
Willie hitch to Rory Kohler, and Kohler for the first down across midfield. Interesting that he was picked up by Ottawa, was a free agent, and came back to return to the Bombers. 12-yard pickup for Kohler.
Just 1 catch in week 1, but a couple of shots deep to him were very close.
Bombers without the services of Corey Watson, who had a strong opener, but again a hamstring injury has sidelined him, much to his frustration and that of the Bombers. Pressure into the hands of Denmark, and he stumbles to the 51, and it's a gain of 2.
Well, what a start for Drew Willie. You mentioned Willie Pegg after week 1. They beat Toronto, and he went head-to-head with Ricky Ray, who a few days earlier had been named the top player in the TSN top 50. And then Drew Willie put this game together at 3:08, 4 touchdowns, and a big win over the Argos. And everyone said, wow, the young gun outplayed the veteran.
Offensive player of the week in week 1. What's he got on 2nd and 8? Hands it off to Grigsby. And Grigsby to the 45 is going to be a couple of yards short.
It's a gutsy, interesting call on 2nd and long to go with that running play. You see the screens, you see the draws to try and catch a defense off guard, but you don't often just see a straight up between the tackles running play. Now that may be just more confidence in Nick Grigsby, but he's a little bit short on this attempt.
Little hesitation from Michael O'Shea. 3rd and 2 from the Ottawa 42, but the punt team's on. Jamil Smith back, and Renault will be looking for the corner. Outside the numbers, taken on the run by Smith, and that's a good play by Smith to draw the 15-yard, no yards, as he caught that ball on the run. So
excellent play, yes,
won't
absolutely.
Be the pin that the Bombers were looking for.
No question, that's a big play, just to hustle under that. Could have just let that go out of bounds, but he hustles to it, and the Bomber cover team just can't react in time, and that's good awareness of the rules in Canadian Football League, and that's coaching. Rick Campbell coaching up the special teams.
Winnipeg, number 0, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Johnny Sears encroaching. Penalty tacked on. It'll be Ottawa football when we come back to Winnipeg. Big night for Ottawa, big night for the Canadian Football League, and Sarah Oleski's with the commissioner.
Thank you, Chris. Of course, Mark Cohen here to take in this historic night. Mark, we've seen what the Ottawa Redblacks have been able to do in the 1st quarter, and they put up 21 points. Is this an example as to why it was important for this team to be competitive when you added that 9th franchise?
Yeah, absolutely. We said the expansion draft has to give Ottawa a fighting chance, and this quarter they're proving that they're a competitive team and giving people of Ottawa hope, and that's important.
We've seen shots of fans in the Ottawa bars right now cheering on this team. July 18th is their home opener. How are things moving along in Ottawa?
They're ready for July 18th. I can't wait. That's going to be a historic moment for this league. It's a historic moment now, but I think the emotion in that city when they kick off on July 18th is going to be great, and I'm absolutely going to be there.
I don't doubt it. Thanks so much for this, Mark. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the game. Chris?
Well, what a start it is indeed. They've now up to 172 passing yards.
Well, you know, honestly, and great job and congratulations to Jeff Hunt and John Ruddy, John Pugh, Roger Greenberg, Bill Shankman, putting this thing together.
There's the sweep to Smith, and he gets collared and brought down quickly by Ejiro Kowali. Just 4 for Jamil Smith, the 5'6", 155-pounder.
There's a lot of obstacles that they had to overcome and red tape to cut through. But that ownership group is an all-star team of local owners that are invested in the community. This team is around for the long haul. Ottawa fans can get behind them, and they've got some weapons on offense too.
3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, and now looking at 2nd and 6. First to throw, has time, downfield for Matt Carter, and he overshoots the intended target. And the Bomber defense gets Ottawa's offense off the field for the first time.
Well, they got to stop, slowed a little momentum. Ball just a little bit out of the reach. The intended target, and Rick Campbell, experienced coach, has coached both sides of the ball as an assistant in the league for years.
Brett Maher, former Nebraska Cornhusker, doing all the kicking. High boot to Aaron Woods from his 15. And Woods is taken down after a short return. James Green, the former Blue Bomber there. Javon Johnson on the Ottawa defense. Sarah Orleski with more on Javon when we return. This profile Bombers of the past few years is now a Red Black, and with more on Javon Johnson, here's Sarah.
Well, Chris, you and Glenn have mentioned so far in this game about players on this Red Blacks team with something to prove. Javon Johnson definitely fits the bill. He comes into this game with a chip on his shoulder. After playing 6 years here in Winnipeg, he described it as weird. He never thought he'd be in a scenario when he was on the other side facing off against the Bombers. He was released during this offseason, courtesy of a voicemail that came from Mike O'Shea. He said he was shocked by it, but rededicated himself. And I guarantee you, there are a few people on this field right now that want to have a good game more than Javon Johnson.
Felt he was a bit of a scapegoat for the problems of the past couple of years in Winnipeg.
Well, he represents defensive backs. If I could speak on behalf of all defensive backs that have played in the game, Canadian Football League, he is the only player, the only DB to be named the Defensive Player of the Year back in 2011. And, you know, in our meeting with him yesterday, he talked about, I asked him about his training in the offseason. What did he change with that chip on his shoulder? Did he do anything differently? He said, absolutely. He said he got back down into corner type shape. Last year in Winnipeg, he was asked to play a little linebacker, move around, which is one of the reasons that he felt like he was being a scapegoat for a lot of the problems this team was having, even though he was trying to do whatever was asked of him, and yet not being moved out of that position that he's natural at, which is corner. Well, he's down in the 2011 shape now.
11 years later, or 11 pounds later, excuse me. Sneak on 2nd and inches, and Marv should have it, and Willie returns after that connection to Julian Fioli-Gadino that set up the first down.
Yeah, 11 pounds lighter, and for a defensive back that's completely cut, and DBs are, I'm just saying it. And that's a lot of weight. You know, that's a lot of weight, and there's a guy who got back into that game shape from 2011 when he was the outstanding defensive player. I expect he's going to have a big season on that short side corner.
Going back in, first down, Bombers. 4 receivers to the wide side, looking downfield, Moore again, up against Gavins, and a flag comes down. Well, they've isolated Nick Moore against the newcomer from Boise State, Jarrell Gavins.
Looked like he was leaning on the back of this guy right here, Nick Moore, as he runs the corner. Remember, the first route he ran on Gavins was the post all the way across the field.
Ottawa, accidental. 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Now, accidental pass interference, that's just a 10-yard penalty, so they're going to have to respot the football. Not at the point of foul, but 10 yards up. And that might discourage Rick Campbell from challenging what was a close call.
Yeah, and I don't think, you know, this is something that the coaches are learning as we go here, because it's a new rule that they can challenge defensive pass interference if they feel like they want to take another look at it. But that's just a 10-yard penalty. You want to save that for a bigger call that would be more than, well, the big play.
If not accidental, would have been a 35-40-yard penalty. Flag down, pass over the middle, and Fioli Godino can't bring it in. 4 catches last week, 36 yards, as he took the spot of Corey Watson and had a touchdown. Costa Rican native who's excited about.
Offside, Ottawa, number 24. It's a 5-yard penalty, will remain first down.
It was Gavin's on the offside. Costa Rica against the Netherlands. I know you've become a World Cup expert.
Not close. Not close, but that was a hot throw and a little bit behind him from Willie.
You're a World Cup expert. Everybody becoming a tennis expert in the last week or two. Second down, wide open. There's Pombriano, the fullback, rumbles into Ottawa territory. 14 yards and a first down for the Bombers at the Redblack 46.
You know, I like what Drew Willie's doing here. He looks at his play package on his wrist. There's the tight end right there. Pombriano going out of the backfield, or excuse me, out of that tight end spot with a little play action, and Drew Willie is now just slowing the pace of the game a little bit. First down, just put first downs together. A little different script than last week.
They'll mark it back at the 48. First down, Winnipeg. Grigsby, a little reversed. Flea flicker. Willie over the middle. And they get the completion of a first down to Clarence Denmark. Pretty fancy. 15-yard pickup.
Javon Johnson rocks him, and it looks like he may have got the worst of this hit. Denmark was able to, on this crossing route, kind of protect himself. This happens so quickly on this double reverse pass back to Drew Willie that it doesn't open up the deep route. It doesn't influence the back end, the secondary that we're covering the deep route to, that Willie first wanted to go to. He goes to Clarence Denmark over the middle, who took a big hit from Javon Johnson, and Johnson still on one knee.
Well, the veteran in the secondary, and that will be a cause for concern.
Especially since we've seen Jarrell Gavins be picked on a little bit. Clearly in the Winnipeg game plan, they're going after those young halfbacks.
And Javon made it clear yesterday he thinks Gavins has a bright future, but
test him.
The veteran guys in that secondary are looking after the young bucks.
Well, you got to test him. You got a rookie back there. You got to see if they can handle it and go after him.
Seth Williams, the veteran, moves into Johnson's spot on the boundary, and Brandon Thompson comes in at wide side corner with Javon to the sidelines. First down, Bombers. And they'll swing it to Moore. Makes a move. And down to the 25 for Nick Moore. 8 yards. Much more involved tonight in the offense. Nick Moore.
Safety blitz called from Ottawa here. There's Eric Fraser's going to come around and come on the blitz. Recognition from Drew Willie. Perfect. Knows he has to throw it. That guy's unblocked. Gets it out of there to Nick Moore. Picks up nice yards after the catch.
Ottawa area native Justin Phillips comes into the game for the Redblacks. This short yardage situation. Big to Grigsby. And Moore has another catch. And another Winnipeg first down. 9 for Nick Moore, who was lauded for his blocking last week, but this is what we expected to see out of Nick Moore.
Well, he led the Lions last year. Number 3 receiver in the league. And yeah, coming into week 1, everyone thought that would be the number 1 target. Ended up being Aaron Kelly. But you knew it wouldn't be long before Drew Willie started looking for 17.
Haven't heard from Kelly yet tonight. Willie had time, looks for Moore again, and flags are flying. Couple of flags down, one in the Bomber backfield. one further downfield. Willie got hit after delivering the football, and see if that's one of the calls.
Roughing the passer. Ottawa, number 43.
Yep.
Legal contact on a receiver. Ottawa, half the distance, and then half the distance again. First down.
So Travis Brown, the roughing the passer penalty. Young linebacker out of Fresno State. The Redblacks have two linebackers, one named Green and one named Brown.
Well, Travis Brown led the team in tackles in the preseason against Montreal. A little bit late here on the hit to Drew Willie. Puts it on the 4-yard line.
So it's first and goal inside the 5. It'll be Grigsby. Touchdown. What a change of gears for Nick Grigsby. And he's got a pair of touchdowns in this first half.
Great shuffle step from Grigsby. That's about the third time now that his hole at the point of attack was not there, and he just bounces it, quickly changes direction, and is untouched.
Laram Haiwalahu in for the point after. And the former Western Ontario Mustang makes it a 7-point game as Nick Grigsby caps a 10-play, 89-yard Bomber touchdown drive. Get ready, Canada. The Amazing Race Canada's back Tuesdays this summer on CTV. New teams, new adventures, no limits. A new season of the Amazing Race Canada Tuesday, starting at 9/8 Central on CTV. Oh, week 2 starting off a whole lot better than week 1 entertainment-wise. Got a shootout in Winnipeg. Jamel Smith inside his 10, and he is brought down just beyond the 25-yard line. And a late flag might be for taunting. Looks like Louis Richardson was a little too amped up. We'll find out.
I've taken a look at the
After
replay.
the play, objectional conduct. Winnipeg, 52, 10-yard penalty, first down.
It is Richardson, and a costly penalty that will be addressed on the sidelines.
I'm sure Michael O'Shea will talk to him. Let's go back to the touchdown and show you some nice blocking up front from Steve Morley and Glenn January. They're both going to pull. Morley kicks out. January comes in the hole, and it's Glenn January that gets the key block for Nick Grigsby. He's going to shuffle step. There's the seal block by January. Grigsby untouched.
Ottawa has touchdowns on 3 of 4 possessions. They hand it off to Walker. And Walker brought down just beyond the line of scrimmage. 3 for Walker. Ian Wild stepped up from his middle linebacker spot. Most of the damage tonight, Suits, has been done on first down by both teams. Winnipeg 181 yards on first down, and Ottawa now with 134 yards on first down here in this first half. 5 touchdowns already. Just over 5 minutes to go. Burris wide side. He can still get it out there, can he? Matt Walker the catch. Matt Buckner pushes him out.
That's a long throw, and he still has, at 39, one of the strongest arms in the league, because Burris from this hash has to get it that far, which becomes about a 40-yard throw, depending on how deep that receiver gets down the field. Long throw to the wide field, and if you're off on the timing even a little bit, it's going the other way.
15 for Walker. First down, Ottawa. And the hit screen to Dobson Collins is not going anywhere. Pushed back by a roadblock right at midfield.
Well, the leader of that was Bruce Johnston, the halfback for the Bombers, who led the team in tackles along with Matt Buckner in week 1. And he flies up on that quick screen to Dobson Collins and is there to shut the door immediately. Again, a young player who was around the football in week 1, gets better in week 2.
Undrafted Miami Hurricane. Ended up playing 3 years with the New York Giants. 2nd and 8. Screen. Collins inside. And he'll get men at the 50 and will be stopped short when it looked like there was first down territory available.
I think Ian Wild, middle linebacker, stepped up and held the Redblacks short here. Well executed out of the gate for the Ottawa Redblacks as they run this screen. Offensive line downfield. They pick up Desjardins. It looks like it's got a play developing here to Dobson Collins, but watch how quickly Ian Wild closes. Nominee for Outstanding Rookie was there to shut the door.
Dobson Collins getting attention on the sidelines after that big hit over the middle. So Aaron Woods is back as Maher gets set to put it away. Flag down. A lot of movement and play's been stopped.
Procedure, Ottawa, number 46. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
I'm not surprised. That's really interesting punt cover formation for Ottawa.
That was Thomas DeMarco, excuse me. He was back there. He's known to take reps as a punter, and maybe they were looking for something on there on the Bomber side of half. He ended up punting it away, but penalty marches it back 5. So now it is Maher in. Pressure on! And the ball is tipped. Partially blocked by T. Sherman, I believe. If not, just a hurry for the Manitoba Bison, and that reaction would indicate he just missed it. But he got into the kitchen of Maher.
Maher had to adjust his kicking angle, and this barely went past the 1st down marker.
Flags for the no yards.
No yards. Ottawa, number 6. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Did get a piece of it, it looked like.
So the penalty against Antoine Pruneau, the top draft choice of the Redblacks this year, number 4 overall.